A chance to get this out. Let me straighten my camera a little bit, and hopefully the program won't jam up on me while I got to say this, okay? Now this goes out to my brothers. My brothers, that's right, my brothers, all of my brothers, all of my American brothers, because we are becoming increasingly a gynocentric culture, and all of my African American brothers, my Black American brothers, because we have been living in the gynocracy for quite some time. So pardon me and excuse me, and sorry but not sorry if you're offended at what I'm about to say. I guess you can tell by the title that what I'm about to talk about is the fact that marriage is not a good success strategy. Especially for brothers, especially for black men. Marriage is not a good success strategy. Okay? Now, let me start this off by giving you guys a little bit of explanation about the Creole culture, the culture from which I come. The Creole culture in New Orleans. Okay? Back in the day when I was growing up, if you needed to have a house built or you needed to have any work done on your house, you usually were hiring a Creole man from the 7th Ward of New Orleans. The 7th Ward, okay? It's where I was born. So we're carpenters, bricklayers, plumbers, electricians, roof tilers, floor tilers, drywallers, you know what I mean? Stucco blasters, whatever you want to call it. Any type of trade for building houses is what we typically find in the 7th Ward of New Orleans. Not rich people, right? But this is just part of our culture. My father, in fact, was a carpenter, a home builder, and one of the best preservationists in New Orleans. He understood the old architecture of a lot of the old buildings. And on his salary, on his earnings, you wouldn't say salary because for the most part he was a self-employed contractor. On his earnings, he raised my brothers and I and put us through Catholic school, and my mother didn't have to work. My mother was the stay-at-home mom, the homemaker, the much unappreciated homemaker. By today's standards, homemakers are very unappreciated. They see it as demeaning. But in fact, I'm a better person as a result, and I can see how the benefit of having a mother present at home benefited me and my siblings to an extent that, from what I see in contrast in the example of other people who didn't have the benefit of a traditional patriarchal family, that they suffer from, socially and personally, okay? And that's what I want to talk about, the patriarchy. Because for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, this is what you need to understand. For richer or for poorer, a patriarch is a patriarch. This is the cloth that we would be if both mom and dad were working. We never thought about that at all. That's not who we are. It is culturally who we are as a patriarchal nuclear family. And my parents' generation, had me. I was born in 65. So they went through the hippie era, they went through the Black Panther era, they went through the Black Power era. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm... Many of the members of the Creole community decided to relinquish that which is Creole culture in order to embrace the overall black society, black culture. And they saw the observance of the distinctions between black culture and Creole culture as being uppity or sellout or colonialist or whitewashing or, Uncle Tomming, even though Uncle Tom was a hero. you know, a lot of disparaging, a lot of really, you know, negative things were associated with recognizing what makes us Creole within the overall black society. But I am a Creole. I will die a Creole. And I am a Creole for the rest of my life, which means I am a patriarch for the rest of my life. Now, does that mean that I'm uncomfortable with being with a woman who is making money and earning? No, not at all. Would it make me uncomfortable to be with a woman who is making more money than I, or has more wealth than I, or income? No, it wouldn't make me uncomfortable whatsoever. I've dated physicians, you know, well, I don't know if they were making any more money than me, but they're doctors, whatever. And you know, I'm not afraid of competent, intelligent women, or smart or career women, or women earning money, or anything like that. But essentially, what I am, my essence, is a patriarch, right? That's what I am, which is to say that even if I did know a woman, or even if I was romantically involved with a woman who had more money than me, or who made more money than me, or whatever, I would never feel comfortable depending on a woman financially for financial support. I simply cannot do it. I've been on my own all of my life. I've been working and supporting myself since before I went into the military. And I signed up for the Air Force at 17 years old. So I've been independent all of my life. And I will and shall always maintain the means by which I can financially support myself. This is never going to change. This is never going to go away. And I just cannot think of living my life being financially dependent upon a woman. I can't. I mean, I've never been financially dependent upon a woman. I've never been financially dependent upon my mother. My mother was financially dependent upon my father. I was always financially dependent upon a man or another man. You see what I'm saying? My father as a man or myself as a man. I cannot put my hand out and accept from a woman. I just can't do it. Now, if that makes me a sexist or a misogynist or whatever, then whatever fucking names you want to throw at me, throw it at me. Whatever names you want to call me, I don't care. I don't really care. But this is who I am. And I've come to accept who I am. I've come to accept being black, and I've come to accept being Creole culturally. And I'll never apologize for either, right? I'll never apologize for either. Now, I say all that to say this. The vast majority of American men, well, I would just say the slight majority of American men, and the vast majority of black American men that are married, especially those that are married to black American women, have surrendered to a great degree culturally to living within that paradigm of black American gynocratic society and matriarchal families. And so because many brothers have to depend financially upon the woman that they're with for financial support, they don't exercise themselves as patriarchs in their homes. And this doesn't mean being a petty tyrant or a boss or a dictator or anything like that, but because it doesn't have to, you shouldn't have to act out any type of authoritative behavior. You should not, right? because you should be honored and respected as the patriarch of the family, and that should come natural to everyone. And those who do not understand that and cannot honor and respect you as the patriarch of the family simply will not participate in the family. And brothers don't have that. A lot of brothers don't have that. The majority of the brothers that would have killed another black man in the streets, shot him down dead in the streets in their younger years, who bobbed their head to the rhythm of their own genocide and repeat rap lyrics that celebrate killing another black man, would not talk back to their mama and would not talk back to their wife. They would not even open their mouth in the direction of a black woman. And it's very sad, because if we can't establish dominance in our own homes, then how are we going to establish any sense of dominance in the world? If we don't feel as though we are the masters of our own dominion, the place where we lay our heads at night, if we're not the masters, if we're not comfortable enough to scratch our nuts at home, then we're never going to even, it's not even going to be worth it to try to conquer the world. Okay? It's not even going to be worth it. And what people fail to realize is that the little subtle things about being a man, about manhood and being a man, the little subtle aspects about manhood that really, really matter, okay? Being respected, being honored as a man, not having your ass kicked, but simply being honored as a man, being honored as a human being with regular human dignity, regardless of your gender, regardless of whether you're a man, your sex, whether you're one of the two sexes that exist, whether you're a man or a woman, or one of the two genders that exist, whether you're a man or a woman. And this happens most, where this lack of respect, this lack of dignity rears its ugly head most, is in communication, okay? And this happens frequently enough, what I'm about to describe, the scenario that I'm about to describe, happens frequently enough for me to make this video, okay? For me to make this video. Now, when I was growing up, I remember when the squawk box telephone first started. That was somewhere in the 1970s. Late 70s, right? 1978, whatever. People started having speaker phones on the phone, and you had to wait until the other person finished talking. You couldn't talk at the same time because for some reason it was a bistable multi-vibrator circuit that didn't allow the talker to be listening while he was talking or whatever. And I remember that. I remember making prank calls. I remember being in high school and, you know, having a bunch of people sitting around the call and making a call. I remember sneaking witnesses onto the call. I remember recording telephone calls because we had the old cassette recorders, and when you had a speakerphone, you know, you could record calls, and everyone's gone through that, right? Since the 1970s, everyone's gone through, you know, having a conversation that you presumed was private, divulged, or even made from the beginning on the speakerphone. And most people find that extremely irritating. Most people find it incredibly fucking annoying when someone calls you and doesn't announce to you that they have clandestine eavesdroppers listening in on the conversation, okay? And I especially, right? because I like to cuss. I'm a very direct and blunt and straightforward person, and I'm not the kind of person that I'm not for everybody. I don't have the kind of personality that rubs everybody the right way. So, you know, it's important, and I don't bite my tongue. I communicate very honestly. So, needless to say, it is completely out of my view the possibility of me making a speakerphone conversation with witnesses listening onto the phone, and it's completely out of my, you know, fucking reality to even consider that a grown ass man, a middle-aged grown ass man, would feel such minuscule, infinitesimal fucking personal dignity that they do not feel as though they have the right to make conversation in privacy, that they're a boy and there is nothing that they have to talk about that their mama can't hear. That's what's going on. You're not a man who's entitled to his privacy. You're a boy, and if you gotta call Devin, then just call him on the speakerphone and I'm gonna listen to the fucking conversation. That doesn't set well with me, and it never will. It never will set well with me. Because what you are, the married black man who makes that telephone call to me while he is on the speakerphone with his wife listening, okay? And like I said, this happened, all right? I'm talking about 4 or 5 of y'all niggas, okay? 4 or 5 of y'all niggas, okay? All right? That's why I had to make a video. I can't believe this. I can't believe this phenomenon is so common. It's like I can't do business with a black man who's married, because inevitably, this nigga's gonna call me with his fucking wife sitting there listening on to the goddamn conversation. Now I know I'm probably gonna get, you know, strikes and all kind of stuff for this video because I'm cussing, but that's how passionately I feel about this. And if you, brother, have accepted the beta male role that 99.97% of brothers accept when they go into this gynocracy type of situation when they're married to black women, okay, that's fine, right? But just remember, when you call me with your wife listening, I'm likely to talk about things or use language that your wife does not approve of, because I don't expect to be, you know, put on display for someone else, and I don't expect to have someone be so goddamn disrespectful as to call me with a hidden eavesdropper. So, if I suspect or detect that you have an eavesdropper, I may actually go out of my way to embarrass you. Because men don't do that. Men don't call men with their wife listening on the phone. Men don't call men with anyone else listening on the phone. It is a matter of trust. If you are talking with someone listening, anyone who you are talking to can tell that there is someone listening and that you are altering your personality and altering, you know, siphoning yourself and all the rest of that, because you got a mama, because you need a woman to pay your bills, because you have compromised your manhood in exchange for comfort and the illusion of security behind a woman's skirt. But you do not have the right to pull me down there with you. You may not have the right to have a private conversation, but I don't depend on a woman to pay my bills. I don't depend on a woman to share my bills. I don't depend on a woman financially in any way at all. And so therefore, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, for richer or for poorer, I am a man and a patriarch. If I have to sleep in a log on the street, it is my log on the street to sleep in. And I don't have to depend on anyone. That's why I hold my nuts. That's why I speak freely all the time. That's why I don't bite my lip. I don't bite my tongue. I don't suppress anything, any thoughts or any emotions, because that's how you get cancer. Holding shit in, right? Holding shit in and not living man's life on earth. I live man's life on earth. And when my rewards come in, they are that much sweeter because I did it my way. Like Frankie Sinatra used to say back in the day. Okay? And I got to express that because a lot of the members of our gynocratic Black American society really hate masculine men. Okay? They really hate free-thinking, masculine black men. They hate passport bros. They hate black Republicans. They hate black MAGA supporters. They hate brothers who don't fall for the, who are off the Democrat plantation. They're not comfortable with those of us who actually stand on our own 2 feet and are unabashed about being free-thinking, patriarchal. I dare to say it. Patriarchal black men. And there's nothing more disgusting than to hear a black man use the word white in conjunction with patriarchy, as though we were so uncivilized, pulled from the bush in Africa with bones in our noses, that we had never evolved to establish a natural sense of patriarchy within our own family structures, be it a history in Africa or a history in America, whichever history you choose to embrace. It's highly insulting. Race and patriarchy really have nothing to do with each other. So that's my piece, okay? And we're never going to come together as men as long as we are allowing ourselves to be controlled and dominated by women. Because the feminine energy that controls and dominates a man is at its essence an emotional energy. And our problem, as far as I'm concerned, from my observation, from my standpoint, is that we spend too much time feeling and not enough time thinking. We're too emotional and not rational nearly enough. And that's my honest assessment. As much as I love my peeps, that's my honest assessment. And it's an insulting stereotype by which we are labeled and often viewed, and we're actually manipulated by our emotions. That's why they can play the drums that Trump is a racist, and get people just so emotionally wrapped up in it with their racial identity that they fail to think clearly, and they fail to look out for their own interests, their own rational political interests, or to be so insulting as to say, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black, right? I mean, if you're not insulted by that, then I really have nothing to share with you. But that didn't really help. I thought I would help by getting the light out, but that's all I wanted to share. Be a man, right? Be a man. and be willing to risk in order to be a man, because you only got one life, and make it man's life on earth. Marriage is not a success strategy, okay? Don't believe that because you attach yourself to a woman who has material resources or access to material resources that you are going to enjoy the comfort and security of her material resources and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with being a natural man, a natural patriarch in this world. Because you're not going to enjoy both. You're not going to have both. Okay? If you're going to be dependent upon a woman like her child, don't be surprised when she treats you like her child, when she addresses you like her child, when she speaks to you and or about you like a child, and when you have to play that emotional role in your family, trying not to be the victim of sign language, right? Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. Because you're going to get your ass whipped by sign language. Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. For so long as you allow yourself to depend financially upon a woman. Okay? A woman cannot respect a man that depends on her for getting his financial needs met, his material needs met. Whether you want to call them financial, or food, or shelter, or anything like that. All right? You might be able to play, Mr. Stud Muffin for a little bit, for a while, but there's going to come a time when she encounters a man that has the dick and the wallet, and you're going to be a thing of the past, as you should. All right? So most men that I know that are in the situation that I described understand exactly what the hell I'm talking about. They know exactly where I'm coming from, and unfortunately they are living that reality right now. They're living that eunuch reality, that life of being castrated, and still trying to compare themselves to me, right? Still trying to compare themselves to the D, okay? But you can't really do it because, it ain't yours, it's hers, and, it's always going to be like that, It's always going to be like that. Unless you could do like Donald Trump, and take $1 million that was given to you and turn it into $1 billion, then that's respectable. That's something that's remarkable by any stretch of imagination. Yes. So hither we are. I'm about to pick my little man up from school. I keep him close to my vest. I remain a man of integrity, regardless of what goes on around me. I forgive quickly. That's a very important thing that I teach my children. I'm trying to impart upon my children. Forgive quickly. Make your mistakes quickly. Get them out the way. Fail quickly so that you learn. And then move on to your successes. Move on to your successes by reaching for higher failures. As you learn and as you grow, you'll understand that. But forgive quickly, because there's really nothing positive in feeling or expressing negative emotions toward anyone. All it does is it eats up your mental and emotional energy for doing the creative things that are actually going to bring money and success to you. You see what I'm saying? Your strongest tools are your mind, your spirit, and your character. Your mind, your tool of survival. Man is the rational animal, right? Every definition has a genus and a differentiator. Every definition. The genus of man is animal. Man is one of the animals. The differentia, what distinguishes man from the rest of the animals, is the fact that he thinks. He thinks much more than the other animals. In fact, his very survival is based upon his capacity to reason. And so man, in the Platonic definition of it, is the rational animal. And to the extent that you refuse to be rational, then you are forsaking not only your right, but your responsibility as a human being. As a human being, okay? Man cannot live by the means of an ape, reactionary to fears and the avoidance of effort, lazy, fearful sloth, violent brute. No, man lives by the means of man. Man is the rational animal. Might does not make right in the world of men. So, when you find yourself reacting to fear, when you find yourself thinking in terms of scarcity, right? If you think that resources in the world are scarce, if you think that money in the world is scarce, if you think that all of the things of life, pleasure, success, beauty, health, wealth, abundance, are scarce, right? Then you are living in fear. You're living out of fear, okay? I love croissants. There's only fear and love. Where there is fear, there's no love. Where there is love, there's no fear. If you understand that you are loved by God and that you are here with a divine purpose, then there's no reason to have fear. There's no room for anything except love. And if you understand life from that perspective, right, then you'll be able to love yourself and love all of those that God has blessed you with. And you won't have to be reactionary to fear. And a fearless man is the most powerful thing in this world. Some say a man with nothing to lose. Some say, a man with his back against the wall. But for whatever reason, a man has no fear. When a man has no fear, he's the most powerful thing in this world. So embrace the love, shake the fear, shake the scarcity, and be a man! And be a man. And please don't ever call me on the speakerphone with your bitch listening. That's really all I wanted to share, okay? Because like I said, it's gotten to the point where it's like 4 or 5 of y'all niggas didn't call me like this, man. It's like I don't know what culture, you think I'm supposed to acclimate myself to, where I'm just supposed to think of myself as being under the chaperone and supervision of somebody's mama who's listening to my conversation, but I ain't the one. I ain't the one. And tell your wife I ain't the one before I offend her. This has been your Manosphere message of the day. Because now I'm pulling up on my son's school, so I gotta go. Yes, have a wonderful day. Talk to you later. Peace. Don't be calling me with no bitch listening on the phone.